Vă salut din nou, domnilor. Pentru următoarele 2 ore voi încerca un pariu peste 0,5 goluri. Ne băgăm și noi în piață aici. Și așteptăm să se cumpere. Și așteptăm după aia să marcheze golul. Da. Voi reveni cu un video la începutul meciului. Revin cu continuarea la clip. A început meciul Schalke, Hoffenheim. Așteptăm să se cumpere la peste 0,5 goluri. Da, am intrat și noi la cumpărare.
Sensational suggests they are. A team who are bereft of all confidence. Been a very good start so far by the Royal Blues in these first 8 minutes.
It has been, but the same was at Hertha Berlin last week. They started the same, really attacking wise, forward thinking. They just have to make sure, as I said before, they score the first goal, because that will give them a little bit of confidence.
Just the 4 points from their defeats already in the Bundesliga. Amin Harit is on this free kick for Schalke. Can they underline their start here with the all-important go-ahead goal? No clean sheet so far this season in the league, at least, to Hoffenheim. In by Harit. There's Nastasic looping up and over the bar.
It's a great delivery here, but he didn't really attack the ball. He was turning away from the ball. It looked like, look, there he's turning his head away. So I think he should have done just full power and go on target. Looked a little bit awkward for me, but also good clearance there by Baumgartner.
Mark Uth on Schalke's corner. In by Uth. Nastasic attacks it again. Here's Suat Serdar on the turn. He couldn't quite control the finish. There is Christian Gross. To say, away from the German game for over a decade. Formerly in charge of Stuttgart. Now 6 years of his career were spent in the Saudi and Egyptian leagues before. As Tulsa said, he initially retired from coaching. Of course, known for his brief spell with Spurs in the mid-1990s in England. Barman finds Didier Samaseku. Now Bohada. Another one, Bohada, who's really impressed in the European games they've played. Only dropped 2 points in the Europa League group, Hoffenheim, as they went through for the first time into the knockout rounds of a European competition. They take on the Norwegians of Molde in the last 32 of the Europa League earlier in the new year. This is Stefan Posch. Into Kramaric now for Samaseku. His pass has gone out for a throw-in.
No, but good pressing here by Schalke. Really aggressive pressing, and what is also good to see, they press together as a team. They stay as a unit and they shuffle across as a unit. That's really good to see here.
Now Ozan Kabak, his name linked with 1 or 2 clubs in the press in recent weeks. Liverpool among them, so too Leipzig. AC Milan have, it appears, been long-term suitors for Ozan Kabak's signature. Nastasic. Timo Becker. Touch on there from Schupp towards Stambouli. Marco Jon's pass for Didier Samaseku. Goes direct here towards the chasing Baumgartner. Breaks for Belfodil. Schalke clear their lines.
Interesting how the two teams can cope with these difficult conditions here today. It's been raining there, Schalke, a bit snow as well. The pitch looks really heavy from here, so it won't be a tiki-taka game today, I guess.
We saw the pitch close up in the warm-ups, and the goal mouth certainly really muddy, which you don't see too often these days, at this level at least. The old days of playing on the parks.
Yeah, I'm really surprised, because usually if the pitches aren't too good, they just change them. They just get a new one in as well. So I'm really surprised why Schalke hasn't done that.
We know money is tight here at the moment. They are a club who have been hit hardly the most by the COVID-19 pandemic and the loss of income as a result of it. Here is Amin Harit for Schalke. Into Schupp. Harit goes again. Away will come Hoffenheim. Kramaric. Stopped by Kabak. Timo Becker. Neatly done. Helped on now to Alessandro Schupp. Held up there by young Marco Jon. Baumgartner. Harit. Stambouli. Harit again off balance on that Difficult service there, couldn't keep his footing. Kolasinac, again the desire there for all to see, stopped by Bohada. And then he goes in late on Suat Serdar, card coming here for Bohada. Clumsy, mistimed, and a clear yellow card.
Yes, and look there, he's leading by example, Kolasinac, so far. Great tackle, great desire. Obviously, this tackle here was fair by Bohada as well, but the second one, he's just too late. Just had to stay on his feet because Serdar, he's running out of play anyway. But interesting to see now, Harit playing on the left-hand side, such a tricky player against Bohada, young player, and already on a booking.
You want to watch. Here is Thibaut Becker for Schalke. Bohada, by the way, is the nephew of Winston Bohada, the former Dutch defender, former Champions League winner. Here's Harit. Harit for Schalke does well, and Hoppy's there. And Matthew Hoppy waits still for his first ever senior goal, but he's getting closer.
It's getting closer, and again, you've seen it there. Bohada there, he had to be careful. He's already on a booking in the box. He couldn't really stop Harit there, who obviously is really skillful. Great vision there, good pass back. Maybe Hopper should have taken his left foot.
A young Californian. Today his third ever Bundesliga start too for Matthew Hoppy. Hails from Yorba Linda in California, southeast of Los Angeles. Shares a hometown with Richard Nixon and Marcus Mumford of Mumford & Sons. Header from Kabak. Schumpf. Picked up here now by Belfodil. Marco Jorn. Stefan Tosh for Hoffenheim. And even game possession-wise so far, but Schalke already 5 shots in the game's first 15 minutes, Torsten, which does show this has been a very good start by the Royal Blues, but no goal to show for it yet.
No, really good start. I'm surprised Hoffenheim has got 47% possession, because I think Schalke's start is excellent so far. Really aggressive. 5 shots on goal, or 5 shots in total is a good start for the first 15 minutes.
Just 8 goals all season, though, for Schalke in the Bundesliga. The team has scored fewer. This is Belfodil for Hoffenheim, meanwhile. To find Iles Bebu. And Bebu into the path of Kramaric, twisting, turning, shapes to shoot. And the first save of Ralf Fährmann's afternoon.
That's what you want as a keeper. Comfortable save to get into the game. But here you can also see Harit defending-wise, he's not the best, and especially against a skillful player as Kramaric, always difficult. I think what Schalke does so far, what they do really well is that they keep Hoffenheim away from their box. To press high, to defend high as a unit is really important, because they've got the worst record from goals in the league, so they just have to be careful and keep them away from their own goal as much as possible.
Yeah, 39 goals given up so far across 14 match days, 8 more than any other team in the Bundesliga.
And
there is no defence more leaky than that of Schalke this season.
And to be fair, Fährmann, I can understand this decision, the decision from Groß that Fährmann is the number 1 now, because of his personality he's got, and because he's talking a little bit more than Renault. But he conceded 22 in 7 appearances. That's a lot of goals.
Yeah, 6.5 games he came on, or came off in one of those, the defeat away to Leipzig. Yeah. So he's had a tough start to his season back in Schalke's goal, Ralf Fährmann. Change of footwear here for Harit meanwhile. Here's Marco Jorn. On to Kramaric. Kramaric there with a switch of play.
Schalke's a man down now.
By Hoppy.
Schalke's a man down. They've got to be careful, make sure they keep the ball until Harit is back in place.
Away by Ralf Fährmann. And his loan with Norwich last year didn't work out there, just the 1 start in the Premier League, and in that he came off injured away to Crystal Palace. Couldn't displace when fit Tim Krul as the Norwich number 1 in the Premier League. Kramaric. Ilas Bebu. Samaseku. He was given a rest just before Christmas, Samaseku. The club felt the signs of burnout given he played so many games in all competitions for Hoffenheim this season. It has been a busy season so far. We mentioned the European games, 6 games in that competition they had to fit in too before the Christmas mini break, as well as 2 cup games as well.
Yeah, and the traveling, you can't forget the traveling on top of that. Traveling in Germany is all right, but then traveling into East Europe, Southern Europe, so that's a lot of games, a lot of traveling away from home. So I can understand why they've rested him a couple of games.
Throw here, it's Timo Becker to Schupf, who goes again here. Alessandro Schupf. Samaseku steps in, finds Andre Kramaric.
It's really tight in there at the moment. I think what both teams should do is just look for the diagonal ball, for the out ball.
And a glimpse there of Naldo, who of course is on the coaching staff here these days. An absolute Schalke and indeed Bundesliga legend, the Brazilian defender. Came in originally to join Manuel Baum's coaching staff. They've had 2 more coaches since. It's Kolasinac. Towards Suat Serdar, defender here is Bohada. Bohada had a contract when this season's over. And they brought in for Feyenoord's Youth Academy in 2018. Has been linked this season with a couple of big clubs, no less a club than Barcelona have been mentioned in the press with his signature, as well as AC Milan. Here he is. To Baumgartner. Now it's with Amin Harit for a much improved Schalke so far, into Alessandro Schupf. He's lost the ball. But I guess we keep saying, Torsten, the test will be if they were to lose the first goal today, how the mindset would be for Schalke's players.
Yes, and on the other hand, the longer the game goes, the more the mind comes into play. I think even if it's still 0-0, they do think about, can we get this over the line or not? So they have to stay calm in their heads. I think the start is promising so far.
Marco Jorn.
And it's a good shape.
The 2 teenage fullbacks.
Schalke's got a good shape. Look, the 2 banks of 4 really tight together.
Baumgartner for Hoffenheim in towards Belfodil, but Ozan Kabak there to slide the ball away. There's many danger for Schalke. Samaseku. Kevin Foltz. Now Foltz again for Hoffenheim, who of course came through a relegation playoff last season on loan with Werder Bremen. The one who's come back to his parent club and has become a first choice player again.
Yeah, it shows you. I think he's been really important for Werder Bremen, and he's just been out of favor with one coach at Hoffenheim, with Schröder last season. But I think this year he's been really good for Hoffenheim. He's an influence in the dressing room as well. He's been captain before he left to Werder Bremen. So for me personally, I'm happy for him that he found his role again at Hoffenheim.
Said Kolasinac. Has been a tough season for the new coach, of course. I mentioned the injuries they've had, the number of games they've had too for Sebastian Hoeneß. His pedigree came really in the low divisions with Bayern's second team. He helped them to win the 4th and the 3rd division titles in Germany before getting the call to take over Hoffenheim. Here comes Kolasinac, meanwhile, for Schalke. Alessandro Schupf. Amin Harit, bright and busy so far. He wants the free kick here. Not forthcoming this time.
Well, lucky. I think Bohada was really lucky here, especially with him being on the booking already.
Ilas Bebu away from Ozan Kabak. And there's Belfodil kicked away. They'll try again here. Blocked. This time by Nastasic. And Schalke's porous defence there for once stands really firm.
Yes, but you've also seen why they've got the poorest defence as well. Bad defending in first place. Betfair-Football was completely spare. Really good save here by Fairman. And this is another dangerous booking here after 23 minutes.
Yeah, Ozan Kabak's name taking the challenge here on Ilas Bebu.
And there, I think Harit did the right thing. In my opinion, it's a foul. And this is, look at Betfair-Football, he's got so much space there. Kabak is out of place. Nastasic should mark him. But it's an important save.
The chance here from range for Christoph Baumgartner. So Kabak on now to 4 yellow cards, 1 away from a mandatory 1-match suspension. Just 1 or 2 signs over the last maybe 3 or 4 minutes that the away team beginning to find their groove here and make 1 or 2 chances. Hoffenheim.
Yes, I think Hearn has told them before the dressing room to stay calm, to make sure they stay in the game, because Schalke will come out of the slots really aggressive, and that's what they did. And to get the rhythm going after these 25 minutes played so far.
And ball against Alessandro Schupf. Schalke's season, of course, began with that horrific 8-0 loss away to the Rekordmeister Bayern. Some tough games coming up. They will take on Bayern again in 2 games' time in the return here at the Feldins Arena. Before that, they have a trip to Frankfurt and a home game with Köln. Chase on here now for Ilas Bebu. And Bebu's cross. There's a man over here. And the shot blocked away. And now Schalke can clear their lines, but initial strike on goal.
Yeah, but again, it's a good crossing. But again, second on the far post, Schalke is just ball watching, and they lose their man because Gacinovic was spare in the box, and that can't happen. Look there, it's a great run from Gacinovic. Or in my opinion, the left back.
One or 2 signs maybe of Schalke's fractured confidence in these last minutes as Hoffenheim begin to just settle in the fixture. Here is Sebastian Hoeneß. He says he feels no pressure on his job. Alexander Rosen, the club's sporting director, has come out and says he's fully behind the coach and what he's had to contend with this season.
I think that's good as well, because he's a new coach, he's new to the Bundesliga. Yes, he's proven it in the 3rd division with Bayern reserves, but you've got to give him the time and please give him a full squad 1 season long to prove what he can do.
The shoes of Julian Nagelsmann were so big to fill at Hoffenheim. Of course, we saw last season Alfred Schroeder couldn't quite manage it. Kramaric tries to release Belfodil away there by Nastasic for Schalke. It's Timo Becker. Becker's long ball, too long for Hoppe.
I think the first 20 minutes we've seen Schalke really compact, but what Hoffenheim has done now, they stretched the game, and now they've got the space they need to get into the holes between the back 4 and midfield 4.
Marco Jon for Hoffenheim. Still Marco Jon here in his first ever appearance in the Bundesliga. It's picked up here by Alessandro Schupf for Schalke. Christian Gross, his last win as a coach in the German top flight was an impressive one. In his last but 1 game in charge of Stuttgart in 2010, they beat Gladbach 7-0. Sure he'd take only a 1-0 win today to break this wretched Schalke run. Stambouli towards Arit. Defender there is Gacinovic. Samaseku. Be a free kick.
I think the best to Schalke, what can happen is they'll keep it 0-0 until the 93rd minute and then score an equaliser on the final whistle, so they don't think about winning a game here for too long.
Samaseku, pressured. Comes here for Jorn. Drops into the orbit of Andre Kramaric. Wide now to find Marco Jorn. Debu comes short. Jorn. Pushed on now for Didier Samaseku. Held up by Stambouli. It's Samaseku. Into Baumgartner. Picked up there by Stefan Posch. And now the counter, led by Amin Arit for Schalke. Ball stays in play just, but it's picked up there by Gacinovic.
Good recovery by Gacinovic.
On the ball again now to serve in an unfamiliar wide right position today, Mijat Gacinovic. They brought in from Frankfurt this season. Also Kabak, lovely run here, good pass too for Matthew Hoppe. Hoppe's hit. And Hoffenheim can clear their lines. They are missing really a senior central striker. Season, Gonzalo Paciencia on loan from Frankfurt. He's injured long term. Markut, of course, had his injury problems before Christmas too, with a very painful head knock in the game with Augsburg. And you look at Matthew Hoppe, a young striker, teenager, third senior start today. It's a big ask, isn't it?
It is a big ask. You need deliveries.
Ilas Bebu for Hoffenheim. And Bebu here, Gacinovic in towards Kramaric. And Fairman's save is terrific. It had to be as well. And that one too.
Offside. Another decent save, really good with his feet there. He stood up really long. Remember last week, I think it was after 20 minutes against Hertha, he had a similar situation where he kept Schalke in the game. Great pass here by Gacinovic, and the one from Kramaric into the hole is good as well. So, great chance. I think Hoffenheim should be 1-0 up here. Should have been 1-0 up. And Fairman did an outstanding job.
He did so twice on that occasion. The second was offside, wouldn't have been allowed to stand, but Fairman wasn't to know that. It's on here for a throw for Schalke. Good game to watch this so far. Both teams have had their moments in this first half up to now. Half an hour, which has fairly flown by at the Veltins Arena.
Yes, and I've got to say, I was expecting Schalke not to be with the ease they need, but they do show a little bit of ease, of playfulness here so far, and still a good aggression. So, good start from both teams, and as you said, an interesting game to watch so far.
Corner won by Matthew Hoppe for Schalke. Amin Arit and Mark Uth on this dead ball for the Royal Blues. The Königsblauen. Last relegation, 1988. This corner then, it'll be Uth to take. In by Uth. Header again from Nastasic. Doesn't really have any power to concern Oliver Baumann.
It's good defending here by Hoffenheim as well. They're really tight to the man on the corners so far.
Kevin Vogt. Marco Jorn. Hoffenheim's next two matches coming up in the Bundesliga. They have a home game with Arminia Bielefeld next Saturday before the trip to face Hertha Berlin. They have a home match with Köln. Hoppe finds Arit for Schalke. Ahead, Uth is on the move. Alexander Schuff for the target, and he's been picked out as well. Flicked away by Hoffenheim, picked up here by Stambouli. Suat Serdar, misplaced pass. Knock here for Didier Samaseku. This is how he was injured in Serdar's challenge.
Oh, yeah. It just hurt. It wasn't a foul, but it just hurt.
So repairs required here for Didier Samasekou, the Mali man they brought in from Salzburg a couple of years ago. Helped them to reach the Europa League semi-finals back in 2018 against Olympique de Marseille. In New Zealand in 2015 as well, where he got a couple of goals. It's that Bebu run for Hoffenheim and the ball to play in Gacinovic. Then the save from Ralph Fairman, just spreads himself there really well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did an extremely good job, but you can't forget the vision from Gacinovic as well. I think Kramaric made a great run, but to see that and play it first time is really vital in this moment. And obviously only Fairman stopped them from scoring the first goal.
Samasekou will come back on, which is good news for Sebastian Hoeneß. Before last night, he was the only coach this year to beat Bayern, of course, when they won 4-1 back on match day 2 in September. Serdar busting his way through, tries to find Alessandro Schupf. Header from Ozan Kabak.
Important to win these second
Here by
balls.
Schalke.
Important to win these second balls here to keep the pressure up.
Full header, there's Samasekou. Gacinovic back on to Didier Samasekou. Now space for Baumgartner to work in for Hoffenheim. The pass wide to pick out Kramaric, who loves these positions. Right across and blocks. Picked up here by Didier Samasekou. And those chances coming thick and fast now for Hoffenheim.
If you see the replay here, Thilo Kehrer did everything right because he stopped him from going on his right foot, Kramaric, and then they put everything in there to keep this ball out of the net. I like it what Schalke does so far. Look at Nastasic.
You can't really fault Schalke's commitment today. You can see the players under Christian Gross are really fired up for this game.
Yes, they are, and Gross said before the game, and I think he really means that as well, that this record from Tasmania Berlin isn't an issue for them, isn't a talking point in the dressing room, and it doesn't look like.
Half time is 10 minutes away. Schalke's free kick taken by Kolasinac. Already Schalke 7 shots, but Hoffenheim now have overtaken them with 9 and 4 on target, which underlines Ralph Fairman's impressive work in this first half. Here's Mark Uth meanwhile for Schalke. Back to Amin Arit. Arit wins a corner. Those stats, Torsten, do bear out the fact that Hoffenheim have begun to get into this game.
Yeah, it shows you that Hoffenheim more and more get more joy of the game, that they try to force their way into the last final third.
Arit's corner then for Schalke. There's the game's first goal coming from this afternoon. In here by Amin Arit. It came off the head of Kevin Vogt and clear here by Kramaric. Arit stays wide.
It's been offside here.
January the 17th last year when they beat Borussia Mönchengladbach by 2-0. That was Schalke's last win in the Bundesliga. 30 matches since. Here's Marco Jon. Stefan Posch towards Belfodil. Drops here now into the path of Kramaric. Samasekou. Now Bohada. By Gacinovic, and away by Timo Becker.
Good defending, and I think the COVID-19 and playing without fans hasn't really helped Schalke in this time where they haven't won a game, because when they've...
In by Kramaric, met by Stambouli. Didier Samasekou back in towards Kramaric, and Fairman at full extension clawed the ball away from Kramaric.
Was like a monster dunk in basketball here. Or monster block, sorry.
Or the breakaway here. And this for Schalke is Matthew Hoppe. Is this his moment? Goes back. Maybe there is the lack of confidence. Harit shot cannons away. Clear by Samaseku. Harit poked out to Zed Kolasinac.
You could see the lack of confidence because it's one-on-one in the box against who was it, Samaseku in this case. As a striker, you have to take him on there.
He wasn't a striker until 2 years ago, Matthew Hoppe. He was playing as a central midfielder in youth football in the USA before he made the move to Germany. Here is Becker. Becker's pass. Schupp flag stays down for now for Schalke. Stompouli in support. Becker's lost out. The foul on Marco Jorn.
Look, there is like a monster block in basketball, I would say. I think really good there, demanding his box, defending his box. Great idea by Cessignon as well. I think these 4 saves Fährmann made helped him to grow some confidence and to get into the rhythm of the game. I think it's important, especially for today, where I guess one goal can be the match winner here today.
But who gets that one goal is the question. Schalke giving as good as they're getting so far. Here's Timo Becker. Zan Kabak. Nastasic. Kolasinac, a very aggressive and impressive start to his second Schalke spell. The on-loan man from Arsenal has brought real desire and drive in this first half in his return.
Yes, he has, and as I said before, it's hard to take too much influence in the game if you're playing as a left back. But I think he's leading by example. He's got the armband, and he shows that on the pitch so far.
Here with the Stefan Posch. Those numbers from Tasmania Berlin's season. 65-66 was the year of that wretched season. Took only 8 points in the whole campaign. In the days then of 2 points for a win. Schalke begin the day here on 4 points for the season. Be a free kick against Margus. Played short. And to Iles Bebu for Hoffenheim. He scored 3 goals in his last 6 matches, Bebu. And Marco Jorn. Jorn's cross. Away by Harit. Stopped there by Marco Jorn, but now the counter-attack for Schalke with pace and numbers forward here. It's Harit for Matthew Hoppe. And Hoppe's in for Schalke! Magnificent finish! And the young American for Schalke 04 is today their day to finally get a win in the Bundesliga. They have the goal, they have the lead now. Can they hold on to it?
What a finish, what a composure finish here. It all started out, we can see a little bit more of the replay. It all started with a great header here. But look at this ball. Look at the desire from Kolasinac, this powerful header. And then Harit, good ball into the channel, right time to put it. Composure finish, decent finish there. Where we said before he should have taken Samaseku on a 1v1 in the box. He said he had no confidence here. He's shown he's full of confidence, by the way it looks. Decent finish, in my opinion, deserved as well.
Matthew Hoppe, watched by Hub Stevens in the stands. Schalke 04 in front. The young man from California, who wasn't even a striker until a couple of years ago, has got the goal which has Schalke in front in the Bundesliga. Their last win, don't forget, almost a year ago, 358 days 30 games ago, but now they lead, and Hoppy, maybe the unlikely man, has given the upper hand in today's game.
Have to make sure now to get it into halftime. Going into the break with a 1-0 lead, to get a breather as well, would be so vital.
They're giving away a free kick in a position of some potential here for Hoffenheim. They are missing Robert Sko today, who is maybe their most noted free kick taker.
Yeah, but yes, he is. But Kramaric, I don't want him to take up the ball there from that kind of position if I'm a keeper.
He was given a yellow card in the goals aftermath under Kramaric. A man with 70 goals in his career in the Bundesliga, the club's all-time record goal scorer. These positions, as Torsten says, you wouldn't really want him on the ball if you were the opposing defenders or goalkeeper like Ralf Fährmann.
He's still really far out, but I do fancy him going on target here.
8 goals in 10 in his league campaign so far for Kramaric. Has a good side of this too, just looks around the wall to see where he's going to bend this. Hoffenheim's go-to guy, their main man. A real deal so often here, Andre Kramaric on this free kick then for Hoffenheim. Kramaric to take on the shot, the wall stands firm. Stopped by Hoppy. And now Kolasinac. Kolasinac again, that buccaneering, battling style. Onto Suat Serdar.
Really good by Hopper. It started by Hopper. You can see the desire in his face. Do you see that from Kolasinac?
A great time to score his maiden senior goal, Matthew Hoppy. His third ever start to in the Bundesliga, and that goal for Schalke just begins to put down some building blocks of confidence in this team, who began the day 7 points from safety in the table. Only 4 points from 14 matches. No team has ever stayed up from 14 winless games to start a season in the Bundesliga. Into now the first half's 1 additional minute. Marco Jon. Here for Belfodil. Belfodil for Hoffenheim. Ibu's back heel. Here's Andre Kramaric, nicked away by... Made the goal for Hoppy. Arit again here. Onto Schupf. Options ahead too for him. Hoppy one of them.
I think the Oud option would have been the better one in this case.
This is Mijat Gacinovic. He's had a quiet game so far by his recent standards, the young Austrian. Now Kevin Folks. Baumgartner for Hoffenheim. Baumgartner's service flicked away by Stromboli, and there is the half-time whistle. Schalke there to the elusive victory. The goal, a first ever for Matthew Hoppy, the young American striker.
1-0 Schalke la pauză, deci ne-a ieșit peste 0,5 goluri. O zi bună vă doresc, domnilor!